All right, everyone, it's Dr. Newell, and I want to go ahead and I want to review from our intro to integers, multiplying and dividing integers, that's unit 3, workspace 2, problem solving with rational numbers. And I am going to start with a problem that has a number line, okay? There are also problems with graphs and graph rate and graph mean. So I'm going to just grab one of these problems first and then we will get into, I'll probably just make 3 separate videos. That way it will not become overwhelming to you. Okay. Let's get started. When you start problems, my dears, it is imperative that you take a look at step by step. So as you notice, when I was showing you the different types of problems that they have, they give you a step by step for each one. You need to use them. Okay. This is a number line problem that we're working on. You see the number line there. This is the step by step you should look at. There are also sample problems that they give you. We are going to go ahead and go straight to the problem. Tyree's startup business makes a profit of $300 the first month. The business records a loss of $75 each month for the next 2 months. The number 0 represents the business breaking even. I may just do 2 problems because I want to take a minute to really break this down. We know that Tyree has a startup business. We know that in the first month, he made a profit of $300. That word profit is a positive number. It means that when we think about 0 and what it represents being his breaking even, meaning whatever supplies he had to purchase or whatnot, when he made money from the product, it just covered that. There was nothing extra. Okay. But in this case, for the first month, he actually had $300 extra. So if I was writing this down on a notebook, I would write plus 300. And then it says the business records, or I'm sorry, the business records a loss of $75 each month for the next 2 months. If I was recording this and writing this down, I would have minus 75, minus 75. So I would have plus 300, minus 75, minus 75. That's all the money transactions. Now that's me listing. But what they have done is created number lines, okay? Remember here it says each month for the next 2 months. So not a loss of 75 altogether, but for each month. So I just see on my number line or on my list that I'm creating minus 75 twice. The number 0, sorry, represents the business breaking even, meaning they didn't have any losses or any gains. That's what breaking even means, okay? So let's go ahead now and take a look at the number lines now that we have talked about this. Here are some number lines. What I see is 300, 300, 300, 300. Very good. How many negative 75s should we have on our number line? We should have 2. So we know A and B, or 1 and 2, these 2 number lines are out. We don't need those. We're going to deal with these 2. We had a positive 300, right? 0 to 300. And then we had 2 negative 75s. So between C and D, or if you call this problem number line 3 and 4, which one shows me that the 75s were negative? If you said this one, you're correct. Now let's take a look. The financial status of the business after the first several months is represented by the expression. How could I write that as an expression? Before I even click on this, 300, I showed you, or I told you earlier that I would have a positive 300 minus 75 minus 75. Could I write it like that? I could, but is there another way to represent these 2 negative 75s? Stop for a moment and take a look. Something else I want to talk about. When we talked about using integer counters to learn integers, we put all of our stuff in a workspace. And whenever we had it in that workspace and we weren't taking anything out, we said that we were adding. We were using an addition operator, which meant we were combining, right? So if I had, let's say I had negative 5. Let me see if I can pull up. I thought I had a math app. Let me pull up a math app real quick because I need you to see this. And it doesn't matter which one because I'm just going to draw it out. Okay, it kind of matters because I don't really want this. So let me go back. I don't want vocabulary cards. Thought I was opening something different. That's nice that they have them. I appreciate that. All right, so oh, I already had that one open. All right, so here I have 300 minus 75 minus 75. So I could write that like that. I could write 300. So I could write positive. I could write 300. And I'm doing this from a this is my HP. So y'all know I'm a little bougie when it comes to this. So I'm not happy that I have to do this. But here's one way I could write that. But what could I do to capture both of these? If you said, Dr. Newell, you could go ahead and say negative 75 times 2. You're right. I could. So I could do negative 75 and I could do times 2. But I'd have to put this in parentheses. This isn't my normal great penmanship. And then I'd have 300. And because I'm combining it with the total or the price or the value of negative 75 times 2, I'm going to add this plus sign. So let me go ahead and show you what I mean here. This is what I brought this up for. We were working with workspaces, remember? And let's say our problem was 3 plus 5. We had a workspace and we would put 1, because these are positive numbers, right? 2, 3. And we would combine that with 5 positives. This is a combination. And so our expression is 3 plus 5. And so we understand that we are just combining all these numbers together. Okay, we're not subtracting anything. So everything within this workspace, which would be all this space here, is being combined or added. That's why when we look over here at our problem, we are going to remember that we have 300 plus the value of that negative 75 times 2. Okay, we're not subtracting it just because it is a negative number. We're combining those together. The financial status of the business after the first several months is represented by the value what? Well, one thing I can do is go ahead and plug this in just like it is there, negative 75, and then put another parentheses. This is why it was important for me that you all understood that when you see two numbers or two letters like A, B right beside each other, that means they're being multiplied. In this case, I can't put negative 75 and 2 right beside each other because it'll look like negative 752. So I'm going to separate them with parentheses, okay? And then I'm going to press enter. And it does the math for me. Excuse me. This part is very important for you to know. The financial status of the business after the first several months is negative or positive. Well, this is a positive value here. Why is it positive? It's positive because it's not below 0 or it's higher than the breaking even. It's positive because they have money right? I want you, before you start looking at their answers, to think about why it's positive first. The business has been running for more than 0 months. That doesn't mean it's going to be positive, because for 2 months they had two negative, they had two losses, right? They had losses for 2 months. The business is still above breaking even. I like that. The business made money every month. It did not make money every month. Matter of fact, it only made money the first month. The second and the third month it lost. So we're going here. Okay. And that would be the end. Now, the next one, I'm going to go ahead and go through it. And then I hope this is quick, because I don't want this video to be too long. Joshua took $30 worth of candy bars to sell for club fundraisers. He took, that's a negative 30. He also took $6 worth of candy bars and ate them. That is also a negative number. So we have now with Joshua, negative 30 and negative 6. The number 0 represents Joshua's fundraising status relative to his goal. Okay, so what we see here are two number lines, and we have two different numbers. That's great, a negative 30 and a 6. He had negative 30, and then he was at that negative 30. He combined that with another negative, which was 6. Which one of these number lines represent that? If you chose this one, I'm going to say you got the negative 30 part right, but the 6, is that negative? No, it's adding 2. So it's adding a positive 6 is what I want to say. Negative 30 plus or combined with a positive 6. Here's the one we want. Negative 30 combined with or plus a negative 6. Let's see how that looks. Negative 30 minus, we're not subtracting, we're combining. Negative 30 combined with negative 6, or this says 30 combined with negative 6, and we are looking at this one here. That's the one we want. Joshua's fundraising status relative to his goal is represented by the value. Well, what I can do is I can show you again, because I want you to remember how to do this. Negative 30. And then we're going to do plus. And because there is a negative sign behind that, we want to go ahead and put that in parentheses. Or you all are very good at this part right here. You would have figured it out. It was negative 36. Joshua's fundraising status relative to his goal, is it positive or negative? I'm glad you said negative. Why is it negative? The number 0 represents Joshua's fundraising status relative to his goal. 0 would mean he just broke even, right? He doesn't have any losses, but he hasn't made any money either. So he hasn't gained any money for the fundraiser. But he did lose money, right? So it's negative because Joshua did not take enough candy bars to sell. We don't know that. Joshua can never reach his fundraising goal. That's a bit extreme. Joshua has to pay for all the candy taken and to sell and to eat. Absolutely. So that is it. Okay, I'm going to stop with this one. I'm going to make you a different video because I still want to give you something for the mean and the rate. I hope this helps.